into order at 4:30 PM. The clerk will call the roll.
Nate Feeney,
Here?
Hushain Zagami,
Here.
John Ziegler,
Here.
Tom Hubbard.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we have quorum. I am seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. Motion by Zagami, is there a second?
Second. Just a point of clarification on the minutes, caught it a little late here, but some of the approvals, it was copy and pasted as far as present. So some of the motions from the meeting say present instead of yes. So we'll just need to correct those. So where it says present, that was a yes during the meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Motion by Zagami, second by Hubbard. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Public comments going once? Public comments going twice? Public comments going 3 times? Moving on. Acknowledgement of acknowledged work product transmittals.
Item B.
Oh, I apologize. Oh, I thought we were doing those jointly. That was my,
Okay.
so anyway, since there was confusion, is there a motion on 4B?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Maloney, second by Ziegler. All those in favor?
Mark's technically not on the Public Works Committee.
But it's the trustees.
It's for trustees, public works and plan.
We'll have to do it again in our meeting. Oh, okay, cool. I just saw it on there, so I jumped
Yeah.
in, so. Never mind.
Okay,
It's all right.
so then Lauren, my understanding is we can bypass that since we have to do it,
It should be just.
Public
Utility can approve it, but.
Okay.
Not me.
alright. So from the public works,
And only the public work.
yes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ziegler. Second by Hubbard. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right, motion carries. Public comments, there were none unless something happened in the last 45 seconds. Okay. Acknowledgement of work product transmittals, there are none to acknowledge. Also, no education presentation and reports, staff reports, CIP project status updates. Director Wodolski?
Just go over some of the highlights. We had the public information meeting for the Crestwood Acres neighborhood on February 10th over at Weston Lanes. Did create a spot on our website for the materials that were presented at that meeting. So the presentation slides, the recording of it, and the meeting minutes, as well as some of the exhibits are online for you to view. I guess the main feedback I've gotten has revolved around sidewalks. And I believe at the special assessment meeting, when we have that, that will be coming up again based on the feedback I've heard from some of the residents. So I guess just
They're not paying for it.
just correct. They're not being assessed for it, but still be.
There's a couple people that are very anti most, as long as they don't have to pay for it, are less enthusiastic.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, most people seem to agree that yes, the neighborhood does need some, work, some upgrades, so. I guess that was, for the most part, it was a fairly positive meeting. Our Birch Street reconstruction project sent out RFPs to 7 firms. We received 4 back. I guess we have a grant from the DOT for the project. One thing that was noticed as I was going through it is our grant states that curb and gutter would be part of the project. So I've asked the state if curb and gutter in fact has to be part of it, or just because it was part of the proposed project, if final design can dictate whether it is or is not included. They asked if we could do something to offset the cost of curb and gutter to make it so the total grant funds would still be the same for the project cost. So I sent a revised estimate back to the state this morning with an extra inch of asphalt that it came pretty close to the same total cost of the project. So hopefully in the next day or two, should hear back if that will suffice or not. The representative I talked to at the DOT seemed to think it would be okay, but they wanted to run it through the proper channels just to make sure, since it is a state fund, and it was a grant, a competitive grant process as well, so.
A question.
Yep.
But why don't you want a curb and gutter?
Looking at it, since it's a rural section, I'm not sure it's gonna be possible to meet stormwater requirements if it's curb and gutter. Without buying a bunch of right of way and trying to put in some ponds somewhere. This is from Shorey to Cross Point, so south of the highway.
I thought there is a pond in there before you get to Quick Trip.
That's on the north side of the highway, we're talking south side of Highway 29.
Okay.
Yeah, so. And it's not, and I guess my question to them is not necessarily to lock it in as one way or the other, but to have the flexibility through design to figure out which one best fits the roadway. You know, one possibility to see if we could utilize the Windermere Oaks storm pond, that's about halfway through the project. You know, that might make it so the north half could be curb and gutter and then transitions to a rural section south of there. So I think there's some options. I'm just trying to figure out, get clarity before we award it, because many of the proposals did focus strictly on a rural section. So if it is curb and gutter, I have a feeling some of the firms are gonna wanna go back and redo their, rework their proposals.
So you can amend the contract for a consultant to do that for you then.
Correct, yeah, so I guess I just wanna make sure we don't tie ourselves in with, you know, if we award the project based on the proposals I received and then we get word back from the DOT that that scope of work isn't gonna fit, I guess I feel like it'd be unfair to the other firms that then we said, no, we're not working with you, and then we negotiate just with the one firm that had the, you know.
Well, you select your consultant, then you can give them as a change order.
Yeah, you can.
That should work out, then I don't think you're gonna be unfair.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure it's, you know, upfront done instead of maybe after the fact. So I was hoping to get an answer in the next day or two and then for the board meeting, be able to have a recommendation. If the DOT is okay with there being not a set typical section before the project starts.
All right, thank you.
So that's where that one's at. The safety building, this week they should begin the final punch list items taken care of. And the GMB building is mostly removed at this point. The steel structure is gone and the concrete foundation is getting, you know, ripped up. And those concrete pieces are being brought to our Ryan Street site, which then will have crushed and turned into base course for future projects, so. We ourselves are reusing that building.
Excellent.
Then, I guess the other main one is the Ryan Street Apache Lane utility crossing. I guess as we went through the sewer analysis, there's a hole right where we're looking at the gravity sewer across the river. So we'll be looking at putting a lift station in on the north side. So working with Clark Dietz right now on a contract amendment for the lift station. Our thought is we'd still bid the project for the mains and street portion of the project later this spring. To get that portion going, and then once the lift station design is done, we can bid that project and everybody can tie in once the lift station is up and running, but at least the majority of the pipe work and road would be done this summer, so we're not pushing it off for another year. Then Tanya Tricia, we should have out for bid in the next month or so. Yeah, okay. So Matt Patterson's in the back corner, for anybody who doesn't know Matt, he's our project manager with Becker Hoppy on that one. And then the well 7 and 8, we had a meeting with AECOM, the DNR and the PSC on February 23rd. And kind of start the process of getting those state agencies approvals for the wells. So the well site investigation report and other items were submitted to the DNR later that week. So should be, you know, probably by the end of summer, early fall, have all the approvals we need there, get the design and then wells drilled, built next summer or spring, summer, so.
Let's see. And then, street operations?
Yeah, I threw some numbers up there for you to just see where we're at salt wise this year compared to the last two seasons. And as you can see, we've used 1/3 of what we did the last two, which is money in the bank in the shed now, which is a good thing. And we did just fill our sand shed. We managed to use up a little more sand this year and the shed was empty, so that's full. So right now, we're on the downhill slide, so hopefully Mother Nature's kind to us and we're kind of switching into spring stuff, we're out sweeping, clearing some, we're still brushing. We could never stop with that as far as brushing stuff, all over the place. And then also we're clearing a site up on Weston Avenue where the future water tower is gonna go. We need another site for a snow dump. So the guys are up there starting on that. Then out at Ryan Street with the concrete and stuff that's coming in from G&B, we're maintaining that. So we did sell some compost to Olson Paving. We sold them, how many, I can't remember off the top of my head. It was 3,000?
1,500 yards.
1,500 yards, sorry, it's been a long day. Yeah, so that was a good thing. So now we've got some room opened up again and there'll be more coming down the line, so. Other than that, no, they're talking rain Wednesday. We're gonna try and do some in-house trainings, some other stuff that's coming up. Keep up with the sweeping, patching will probably start again now once we start getting more moisture, but it was a good winter. I mean, all the way around, we got pretty lucky, so.
Superintendent Swenson?
Yeah, it was a nice slow month for our guys, for diggers. They appreciated it, but it's already starting to turn. We've had quite a few coming in already. Work orders, we had quite a few of those. We did our meter change out for some of our 1.5 2-inch meters, about 74 total work orders. Probably 90% were just the meter change out themselves. And some of our wells, water main stuff, we do have our well number 1, Alta Verde, currently being rehabbed. Spoke with Municipal Well today. They should be back out there this week, hopefully. Get that thing wrapped up next week. Bladel Well was one other one that was rehabbed. That was back up early February, I believe. Some other miscellaneous items that we're able to get done with some of the cold weather. Our guys were able to get some of that interior maintenance on some of the wells. Likewise with our lift stations, number of the lift stations had some maintenance items, some gen repairs. And some of our vac truck stuff we were able to get fixed to get back out there. We had one hydrant get hit that the guys fixed over in Rothschild. I guess a few of the miscellaneous items. Like I said, with the cold, our guys were able to do some of our interior maintenance stuff. We're doing some LED change outs for some of the facilities. Doing some painting of our treatment plant. Getting to some of the report season 2, was able to get our cross connection report submitted. Our DNR sanitary survey came back, kind of reviewing to see what kind of work it's going to take. We may bring the DNR in, maybe at one of the future committee meetings to give a presentation on what they found in their survey. Mentioned the change out for our meters. We're working on our risk and resilience assessment for our water main, or I should say our water system. That's part of the EPA. That'll go hand in hand with our emergency response plan. We'll have to have that submitted. Risk and resilience is by the middle of summer, end of June, I think, and then the emergency response 6 months after that. Also be getting out our village annual report and CCR. That should be coming out here hopefully in the next couple months. Contract work Michael touched on. And other than that, we got some of the numbers for customers added. We're hoping to add a little more information going forward on some of the programs we have out there, like AquaHawk for the customers and residents to track some of their usages. We'd like to have some numbers to kind of show what percentage of our what percentage of our customers are utilizing some of the stuff we have out and using our PSN to pay for some of their bills and stuff. So Teresa's been gathering some good information on that, and on that, it's gonna be getting busy here soon.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 9, purchase of aquatic center safety pads.
One of the projects that was in the CIP, I've included a copy of the CIP, was to replace the safety pads that are placed along the water walk area at the aquatic center. the information in the RFC states, it was budgeted as a $25,000 project. We did get two quotes, one from Newman Pools and one from Fisher Brothers. As you can see, they both came in well below the 25,000 budgeted. Newman's was just over 19,000, and Fisher Brothers was over 20 for the replacement pads, and they lasted a long time for being a foam pad. They're original ones from 1999, so they outlived their life expectancy by double, along with a lot of the other stuff at the pool. But another part of the resurfacing project was that those pads had to be removed. Once they were removed, they kind of got destroyed because they were glued down. So that was, part of the plan that we needed to replace those when the pool surface project was going on, so.
Other than the price, is there a substantial difference between either one?
They're both purchased from the same company, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's just two different suppliers, so we told them what type of pad we wanted, and then they go through pool equipment and purchase them and do the installation, and, one either wanted to make a little more money, or they didn't get as good a deal because they don't purchase as many from that company, so, it's not a significant price difference, but there is obviously some money savings in going with Newman Pools for the 19,000.
Is there a motion?
Move
Which one?
19,025.50. Is
Okay,
that what you want?
Yep.
motion by Zagami,
Second.
I'll give a second to Hubbard. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Right, next item?
The next item is another cool item. There's a copy of the CIP in there also. This has been a proposed project for at least 4 years. The pads have been, or the floats have been deteriorating from the bottom, basically. I did include a couple pictures. Where literally all the rubberized material is gone from the bottom, and as you can see, it's working its way up the sides of them. Due to that deterioration and not having that coating on there, they do take on water. They sink a little bit in the water compared to what they did obviously when they're fully encased. And as part of the project of revitalizing that area and getting, some equipment that's not all beat up and falling apart, that item was included in the CIP budget. Now, this one came in well below what was budgeted, based on, the budget was put together back when we had the facility assessment completed, and most of the pool companies are telling us, 20 plus for those, and that's been years since, so we budgeted a high amount. The playtime quote came in almost 16,000 underneath the budgeted price, and Bomar came in, almost 14,000 under. So you can see examples of both the products. I did include pictures of their proposals. So there's that's the Bomar one. It almost looks unreal, but that's the way they look actually when they come out. And then there's a picture of the playtime one. We have had some previous experience with Bomar. They actually do recoating of those products too. And they had to give us a proposal, and I include the prices in there. I think it was $700 a piece back in 2017 when they quoted us. So you're talking like $5,000 to restore them. And when they saw how deteriorated they are now 4 years later, they didn't really want to tackle recoating them just because they figured they would not hold up due to the deterioration. So they suggested that we go with new ones, and we knew that it was going to be, when it came time to do them, that we might not be able to refurbish them, and we would just replace them. So besides the quote being lower, we like the look of the log slices from Playtime. They look similar to what we have out there previously. I also did talk to some other pool manufacturers, suppliers, contractors, just difference of the quality. I talked to Newman Pools because they put them in at various locations, and they said that these tend to be like a softer material than the ones from Bomar, and hold up really well in the outdoor facilities. So I guess all in all, the quote came in at where we wanted it, and, we should get a good product out of it. Sure, it won't be one that lasts from 1999 like these did, just because of the change in, manufacturing products, but, yeah, should be good.
Is there a substantial difference on that one, or is it the same situation?
Difference,
Between the two proposals?
the, playtime came in at 11,233 and the Bomar ones came in at 1325. We are recommending the, playtime ones that came in at lower price.
I meant in quality, my apologies for not making that
Oh,
clear.
quality, actually, they are the ones that are the better quality, they feel, for our purpose too. So like I said, it sounds like we got a good deal and we're getting a good quality product out of it first, from playtime. And they came in at the lowest price too, so.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to purchase the replacement locks from Playtime.
All right, motion by Hubbard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Zagami, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Great, motion carries. The memorial policy, is that Wadowski or?
That'd be me also.
Okay,
So back in, December, the village approved a memorial for Hetty Yeager to be placed at Kennedy Park. And along with that discussion, we went back to some previous discussions and, regarding memorials and policies and so forth. And we had put together a document back in 2019 that basically laid out the procedure. It was a procedure document that basically told people what they had to do to present the memorial request. Basically told you had to go to Park and Rec Committee if it was in a park, and then to Planning Commission before it would go to the village board. And if it's placed anywhere else besides a park, then it would go just to Planning Commission and Village Board. And it would be for all basically, the board would have to make a decision regarding every memorial every time a request came up. So out of that meeting, the board requested that we put together a more in-depth policy that actually had some guidelines, basically a way to decide if a memorial could be placed on village property or in a park or a right of way. So this is basically a first draft of that document. We did have, back in 2018, we did do a draft of a memorial policy, which we quit working on in 2019. We basically didn't use hardly any of that, just because it was really rough yet. And this one is a culmination of 4 different memorial policies from various communities. And none of them are from around here. Literally the communities around here don't have anything that we define in place. So this is the first draft, and I'm just curious to see what you all think of, what was put in it. I did send it out to the directors to take a look at it too.
Are these being reviewed by a park committee already?
It hasn't been reviewed by park committee, since the determination last year to just hold park and rec committees on an as needed basis instead of weekly. Since I was bringing other items that we need to take action on, because the pool stuff is like, everybody's getting bottled up right now because people are actually trying to open this year. So everybody that wasn't open last year is all ordering products. So, if you want review by the park and rec committee, we can definitely do that, because we don't have, it's not like we need to have a set deadline for it to be done to the end of the month or anything like that. So we could take it to the park and rec committee. We did receive another request for Memorial Bench. As I noted in my report from last month, I haven't heard back from them. It was just a mother and son that wanted to place a bench in a park. So this policy would limit, who could place memorials within village property, all in all, just kind of limiting. So we have a lot of memorials out there, benches and so forth, that didn't necessarily have ties to the village. And I think that was part of the reason why to actually draft the policy that would help the board, and the village decide on, the types of memorials we want placed in the parks. And right away, or, it could be a public safety building, it could be here, it could be somebody wanting to place something along the side of the road in the right of way. So overall encompassing anything where we would get a possible request.
Well, I thought that was a standard procedure. It goes to the park committee, they approve it, they review it, then they come back to us, or.
It typically would, but as you've noted, I've been at your meetings the last few months, with park items, just because of the, like I said, that committee's kind of on an as needed basis, and, I thought I would bring it here, and like I said, it can definitely go to Park and Rec Committee. I just, any input on the policy that will help lead us in the direction, for getting a final draft is helpful.
To me, it looks, very, very reasonable and very straightforward. I like it.
Well, thank you. If there is any other comments, I'd be glad to hear them. If you want to shoot me an email too. And if you prefer to, or would like us to take to the Park and Rec Committee, I could definitely do that. We could set up a meeting in April or May and go through it, because I'm hoping to have a park meeting this spring. And once we get a couple more items that, really need some detail to look into and stuff like that, so.
So we have, 4 possible options. Vote to send to the Board of Trustees, vote to kill it, vote to send it to Park Committee, or to take no action and postpone it to a different meeting. Would someone like to make a motion?
We gotta move it somehow, we gotta do something. Can't we just not to talk about it or send it back to the park committee?
You can refer it back to the park committee.
Excuse me?
You can refer it to the park committee for
Correct.
consideration
Correct,
by a motion.
right.
I'll make a motion to refer it back to Parks.
Motion by Ziegler,
Second,
second by Zagami. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries and is referred to the Parks Department. Acknowledge the sale of surplus property. Is this Clerk Weinkauf since, she's.
I guess so, at the board meeting that was held just prior to this one, the board did approve selling the Badger books per village ordinance. Public Works and the Utility Committee is also supposed to be the one to acknowledge the sale of surplus items, so we just thought it should come to both, just to cover bases.
Is there a motion?
The board did approve selling the Badger books, just so you know.
Okay, so, yeah, it's acknowledged.
You can either call by consensus or by motion if you'd like.
That's what I was thinking. Does anyone object to the acknowledgement?
No.
Okay, hearing none, we acknowledge by consensus. Item 13, resolution 2021-05 or 005 for special assessments for street improvements to the Crestwood Acres neighborhood reconstruction project. Director Wodolski?
Yeah, so this resolution, I guess, authorizes myself to start preparing a special assessment report for the Crestwood Acres neighborhood reconstruction project. Per our ordinance, the one thing that would be assessed on this is the driveway approaches. So I guess if approved, we'll start working on that and then schedule the special assessment hearing.
Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Zagami, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Hubbard, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Next meeting dates are listed below, including a tentative special assessment meeting the week of the 26th of April.
Yeah, so I guess with that, just checking to see if there's a day of the week that would work for the Public Works Committee to have that meeting.
Not Friday.
Not Friday, okay. Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday. I guess just-
Any of
If
those?
you guys wanna look at your calendars and let me know, I'd probably look at holding it at Weston Lanes again, so I'll follow up with them too to see what their availability is. I guess just a heads up that we're looking to hold it probably that week.
Thank you. Topics for future meetings from anyone? Remarks from administrator, not present. Remarks from staff? None? Remarks from committee members, Hubbard?
Nope.
Zagami?
No.
Ziegler?
Nope.
And none from me. No announcements. Is there an adjournment or is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ziegler. Second by Zagami. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. So carried. We adjourn at 5:01 just to recommence in a matter of minutes.